This might be one of the most authoritarian parenting style examples we've ever seen on Supernanny. The Nitti family has harsh discipline and a stepdad who is completely resistant to Joe Frost's help. Authoritarian parenting is actually linked to higher anxiety, lower self-esteem, and even more behavioral problems in kids. We are breaking it down today. What worked, what didn't, and what should we do instead in 2025? And stick around because at the end of today's episode, we will be pulling up the Supernanny wiki on where the Nitti family is now. And there is even a video from John's daughter, and John has since passed away. We'll be talking about all of that on what really happened during filming. You don't want to miss this, so let's grab our beverages and dive in.
And welcome to the crazy house.
Hey!
Darren, he's the bully of the house.
He'll do anything he can to hurt his brothers.
Can you shake my hand? No! I attacked my hand and I let it go.
This is hell.
There is no shortage of aggression here in the Nitti family. When that child put a thumbtack on his hand and he went to prank his brother, come on now, that is not an innocent little prank. That is painful. Why do kids do these things? It's because they have underlying needs. And when those needs, just like adults, aren't met, they will find solutions to these needs. And then boom, thumbtack on hand. That's a solution. So what are the needs that a child might be going through that leads to this solution? Number one, closeness with his brother. He probably wants that connection. And the way that he connects with his brother, the way all of them seem to connect with each other, is through this aggressive play and pranking. If there's no one there to teach them how to prank properly, like, I don't know, a whoopee cushion, then they will go to these tactics. They need to be told, like, listen, if you like to be pranked and you like to be pranked, you both can prank each other, but we have to have some guidelines on what pranks can be.
I hadn't even started observing yet when I got a taste of exactly what the Nitti boys do.
That don't work with me.
And before my eyes, I saw John giving discipline to Devon. I think I came at the right time.
Could have been any time.
Devon.
You were told when you got that sword you're not going to hit your brother. You're not getting it.
Mum had confrontation with Devon.
Stop kicking me.
Maybe I missed the memo. I could have, but I thought that toy swords were used for playing. I thought we were supposed to slay our brother, slay our sister. Isn't that what the toy is for? Now, could there be a situation where this child, he decided to slay his brother without asking consent? Absolutely, and that's not okay. And so what needs to be done is he needs to be taught how to ask his brother to play, make sure that they both are okay with what they're doing, and then also teach them that stop means stop, and at any point, if someone doesn't want to play like this anymore, we stop. Maybe have some certain rules, like we slay the legs or we slay the belly. We don't slay the head, right? And we don't slay so hard that we damage each other's skin. Maybe some parents, they're like, I don't even want my kid to slay anything. Okay, you just gave. I want you to put yourself in a small child's body right now, and you're given a sword. The coolest toy sword you've ever seen. And then you're told to just wave it around in the air. That's boring. Okay, can you at least set up some blocks for the kid to slay? Some old tissue boxes where he stacks them up and then he can knock that down? The whole point of a toy sword is to play with it like a sword.
Sit down, Devon, now. Devon, when he throws his fits, he will do anything he can do to hurt me. You're not fighting me.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing. There was Lisa sitting there allowing all this abuse. And he spits like a camel everywhere.
Well, that turned into hitting, kicking, and spitting in Mom's face because she took away the toy that he wasn't playing with properly. Now, kids are gonna have big emotions when they face a consequence. Sometimes it's tears and sometimes it's aggressive behavior like this. And we have the opportunity to escalate the situation, which is what we just watched Mom do, or de-escalate the situation. So here's what it would look like. Oh my, you're having trouble with that sword. This sword is a lot of fun, but it also could be dangerous. And I know we talked about how to use it properly, but it looks like we have to practice more with it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this timer, and when the timer goes off, we'll try again and we can practice it together because I know you love this sword so much and I don't wanna have to take it away from you, but the way that you're using it isn't following what we talked about. Notice how I still gave the consequence of your losing the toy, but it didn't come from anger. It came from I need to keep you safe and I'm gonna give you an opportunity to earn it back.
They don't play together well at all. They have no respect for each other whatsoever.
All of the boys are really aggressive towards one another. So much for Darren being the role model. He's beating the hell out of his brothers.
Try to help.
Darren, you need to take it a little bit easier on your brother. You gonna play or no?
A little bit of boy.
Darren?
The Nitti aggression is off the scale.
Studies show that aggression is linked to emotional dysregulation, a lack of impulse control, as well as environmental factors. And I see all of that here. They're outside playing with a ball and I'm left wondering, what are we doing with this ball outside? What's going to quickly happen is the oldest child is going to get bored because he's not being challenged. You even see him in the interview where he's talking about playing with his brothers and he's like, yeah, sometimes I bully them a little, haha. It's not because he's a bad kid. It's because he's not being challenged. And I know as a parent, you want to send your kids outside. Go, play outside. But if they're having trouble playing with each other and they do want to play with each other, you have to help them. You have to teach them how to play properly. Go outside, set up a game where the oldest child is being challenged enough and he's the helper to the younger children. And then everybody can work well together.
Go to your room. No, you had your opportunity. Go to your room. Go to your room. No, okay. Sometimes I have to call John at work if they're acting up too bad where I cannot control them. You need to talk to Matthew. He won't stand in the corner. I've been trying to get him to stand in the corner for 8 minutes.
Lisa relies on John and she uses John as a threat.
Talk to John or he's gonna come home. Your best bet is to talk to him on the phone.
Bingo! Mom is undermining her authority by calling up Stepdad and threatening, oh, I'm going to put the phone, if you don't listen to him, he's going to come home. It's going to be bad. It actually makes me think of, what's that family? The Goldberg family. Remember them? Where they would threaten to call the police. And newsflash, none of this works long term. Fear-based discipline, although it can be effective here and there, especially when kids are younger, they're going to outgrow it. They're going to call your bluff at some point.
You got 2 seconds to get that seatbelt on. I'm throwing the sword in the garbage can.
No, you're going to give it.
Get it.
Well, once again, it was Devon who drew his sword and it started to kick off all over again.
Enough!
And Lisa was like, that's it, out the car, we're not going. Take 2.
Devon's ready. Do not push my face again.
We managed to make it out of the driveway and then within seconds, the boys were at it again.
You're all going to your room until John comes home. I've had it.
Mom is a bit of a mess because she's disciplining out of emotion. We're leaving, we're not leaving. I'm taking away your sword away. I'm throwing it out. Sit down, buckle up. He's hitting her, so now she's hitting him back saying, don't hit. Then finally, they end up going home. They don't even get what they're supposed to get done. She sends them to their rooms and is like, oh, I'll just have your father deal with it. Children can't follow if you're not leading. And if your plan is to discipline out of emotion, that's not being a leader. A leader knows what they're doing and has the plan before they even get in the car. Actually, before we keep going, you know what this made me think of? when you're in a classroom with other kids, and there were always those like few kids who didn't follow the rules, and then your teacher would punish the whole classroom. Everybody would be disciplined because of the few. I hated that. And when I became a teacher, I tried to be really intentional. If there were a few kids who needed correcting, needed consequences, needed discipline, that I did not enforce that with the whole class, because it wasn't the whole class's fault. That's what this feels like. Everybody goes to their room. Everybody's in trouble because I've had enough. I don't like it. You remember that?
Straight away, John started barking out those orders.
Put the sand down. Put it down. That's enough. Up.
John's a little scary. He yells so loud that he sounds like a lion.
Get a towel now. Clean it up. It's not funny.
Looks like dog hair.
This floor's gonna be ruined now. All the water's underneath it. You think that's funny? I don't think it's too funny. I scare them by raising my voice, and they do what they're told. I'm fine with it.
Let me get this straight. So this is a boyfriend, not a husband, and of only 2 years. And that means the oldest child being 10, for 8 years of his life, he didn't even know this man. And then this man comes in and he's doing all the discipline in the home. And it doesn't look like he did it on his own, like he took over. She pushed it on him. She calls him. I get that blended families are going to happen, but should an adult that's coming into the family, not when the children are very little, but when they're already older, be taking over the discipline? Because we already know, fast forward, spoiler alert, that they did not stay together. This couple breaks up after this, and we will talk all about that because he even went to jail. It's a whole thing. You got to stay tuned. It's coming. Where's the consistency? Kids need consistency, so the discipline should be coming from the person who's going to continue to be there, not from a potential boyfriend. We don't know what's going on. It's such a mess.
It takes courage and the will to want to change because you believe that you deserve better. This is not just saying the boys need to change. This is about the way you guys change.
I agree. I agree with you. I'm ready. When we sat down with Jill, a lot of what she told us, made a lot of sense. I think she was a little extreme with some of the stuff she said, but what she said was basically true.
The biggest takeaway is that this isn't just about changing the kids' behavior. It's about changing the parents' behavior, because we know it is most effective when parents get the training, parents get the therapy, than when the children get it by themselves. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, it highlights that when parents address their own mental health and relationship skills, their children are less likely to model aggressive or maladaptive behavior. It starts with us.
I'm going to stay here for 6 minutes.
Devin's still going bananas, kicking the dishwasher, breaks my screen door. And here I am being told, don't step in, sit back, sit back. Yeah, it made me very angry. You want me to let him throw everything in the yard in the pool?
Then at last, after 2 hours, Devon calmed down and he stayed in that corner. She also got him to clean up the mess he made.
It is Teach Day, and Joe is implementing her version of timeout. For over 2 hours, the boy destroys the house. I'm talking about taking things outside, throwing him in the pool, punching the screen net, and Stepdad is watching going, I can't. And Joe goes, wait, let her follow through. And after the 2 hours, he does serve his timeout. She also has him clean up the mess, and he apologizes to his mother. So let's talk. Pros, cons of a situation like this. Biggest pro is consistency. Joe came in with those rules. She was like, this is what's going to happen. And then that's what happened. Predictability helps children to take that step before they act. So let me explain it in a simple situation. If your child is getting toothpaste all over the mirror when they brush their teeth, I don't know what they do. Do they flick the toothpaste? It's like they do it on purpose. And every single time you clean that up, they are not going to stop doing it until they are forced to clean it up, because I'm not going to clean your toothpaste mess. If you want to do an art project, we can totally do an art project. And if you want to do an art project with toothbrushes and toothpaste, I will set that up, but I need you to stop doing that on that mirror. And for you to learn not to do that, I'm going to have you be the one that cleans it up. And then the next time they're brushing their teeth, they'll be a little more careful if they're capable. Always come back to what the child is capable of doing, and are we challenging them with what they're capable of doing.
Okay, so listen, boys. I've seen these boys get really angry. So I wanted to show Lisa that there's a way in which she can calm the kids down without losing control. Jojo's created this area here for you to come to express yourselves when you're feeling angry. This is the chill out room. Sit on the cushions, read some books. You may want to draw on this board until you've calmed down.
Yes, Joe, yes, this is exactly what we were talking about. When a child struggles with something and we just tell them to stop doing it, that is not a solution. That's like me telling you, don't think of a pink elephant. I bet you're thinking about a pink elephant right now, because the more we try to push something down, the bigger it becomes. So instead, she normalizes aggression. She looks at the boys and she goes, this is a chill out room, because we feel angry sometimes, and that's okay. But what we do with the anger is the important part. And some of the activities she sets up are like a little marker board I see, something that really helps me. I don't know about you, but for me, music is transformative. When I am having issues, and this is when I get emotionally flooded, if you want a little insight into Kristen's emotions, because I have anger too, everybody does. When I get emotionally flooded, it's typically because I'm arguing with the people closest to me. So think my husband, my mom, my closest, it's usually my husband and my mom, right? It's always your husband and your mom. And for me, I am a pursuer. So as soon as I have a problem, I'm like, let's talk about it. My husband, on the other hand, he needs his space. So I have learned, even in my 30s, that what I need to do is chill out. Maybe I don't have a chill out room, but what I do is I pop in my headphones, I listen to some music that transforms my emotions, and then suddenly everything feels less intense. The thing that I thought was a 911 emergency in my brain was not a 911 emergency. So to be able to teach children these skills, this is what the world needs. The world needs more of this. Can we get this on repeat?
Getting the boys out of the house and into the car is absolute madness. So I'm going to introduce 2 techniques to resolve this problem. And the first is called the frequent driver miles.
25 points for 45 minutes of playtime, 35 for 20 minutes stay up past your bedtime at the weekends, and 50 for a sleepover.
We're having a countdown now. 10 minutes. You getting your stuff together?
And we were off. I just wanted to pinch myself. I am in the same car, right?
Yeah.
Another go, Joe, go moment. Not only do these boys have trouble getting into the car, but once they are in the car, they are unsafe, tackling each other, unbuckling. This is a common issue for many parents. So what Joe implements is a reward system. Now, don't leave me here, because I know people here, we shouldn't have kids like work for stickers and rewards. Like, they should want to do it from the goodness of their heart. And I get you, I feel you, but they're children, okay? We have to work with what we have. They will mature, their brain will develop, and we will slowly start transitioning these extrinsic rewards like stickers and blah, 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 into I want to do good things because I care about others. This doesn't happen overnight, and it's okay, in my opinion, to use extrinsic rewards to motivate people to do things, especially children. You don't want to use it all the time, right? It's not like the only thing you have in your house, but it's very useful for common issues like getting in the car. So Joe starts with, we're going to do a countdown. Countdowns, love countdowns. I use countdowns as a teacher all the time. Kids love to beat the clock. And the countdown helps the child to remain focused on what they're doing. And the countdown is a reasonable amount of time so the child can be successful. So my only caution that I want to say real quick is, because this reward system is being used for all of the children, we must be careful about comparison. Avoid saying things like, well, so-and-so is getting a sticker, but you're not in your seat. Everybody needs to be treated like an individual. By the way, it's the next day. I don't know if you noticed. I ran out of time filming yesterday. For those of you who are new here, I'm a mother of 2 myself, so I had to pick up my son from school. So now we're having some sparkling water. What are you having? Are you having a coffee? Are you eating your lunch? What are you doing? All right, let's keep going.
Don't you punch me. I will not stand around while you damage the house, and you are not gonna do it. I don't agree with the tactics, okay? So I'll do it this way. You will sit there and you'll stay there.
Do you like how you look there, John? Do you like the man you see there right now?
That's me.
Do you like him?
That's me.
Do you like him?
What do you want to hear, lady?
This is probably one of the most famous scenes in this episode where John and Joe go at it. John is saying, I am not going to let these kids destroy the property in the house. Absolutely not. And I can respect the fact that he wants to enforce boundaries. We need more caregivers out there that are saying it and enforcing it. The way he goes about doing it, I do not agree with, and I do not think it's necessary. I actually had a TikTok go viral maybe a few months ago, and one of the most common comments was, this woman, she's probably not even a parent, or I bet her kids walk all over her. My kids are some of the most well-behaved children. And when I go to teacher conferences, the teacher consistently says every year, I wish I could have multiple of your children in my classroom. They are so polite, so respectful. They care about others. They're helpful. And, you know, could you be in a situation, and I want to cover my bases because I don't want anyone to feel bad. That's not the purpose of saying this. Could you have a situation where you have a child with a really difficult temperament and you're doing everything right? You keep doing what you're doing. Some kids are a little bit more challenging than others. But the reason why I say this is because most have this picture of you're either a permissive parent who lets your kid walk all over you, which is obviously terrible, or you let them know what's up. And you're big and bad and powerful. And I wish more people understood that you can enforce boundaries without yelling or ever lifting a finger. What we're gonna do now is, the rest of this episode was really them just practicing the techniques. They do the whole goodbye at the end. I want us to get to where this family is now. This episode was a part of season 3. It was episode 8, and it aired on February 5th, 2007. Lisa is now 47. John passed away at 62. Darren is 29, Matt is 27, Devin is 25, and Jared is 24. Events post-episode. Lisa and John broke up and they haven't seen each other after their breakup. Lisa ended up getting married. Her last name is now Reyes. Devin got married and became a father. Congratulations. And Darren also got married and became a father. Congratulations to him as well. This is where it takes a turn. John was arrested for possession of drugs on December 22nd, 2019. He was arrested again in April of 2021 for driving with a suspended license. Some other information is that Matthew lost half of his skull after a skateboard accident. I don't know, maybe we'll find some stuff on Facebook about that after. And finally, John passed away on September 20th, 2024. May he rest in peace. His daughter posted a video to TikTok, here it is, discussing his experience during the show when the episode was filmed, although his cause of death was unknown. We do know, based on this wiki, that he had several strokes. He was a recovering alcoholic, and he was sober for almost 13 years. Darren's Facebook link is not working. Matthew's Facebook is working, and it only has one picture that we see here. Devin's Facebook has quite a few photos. We can see Devin here. Finally, this is Jared's Facebook, and he also has a lot of photos. We can see Jared here with his mother, Lisa. This is Lisa's Facebook, and this is a family photo with Lisa in the middle and the children around her that are no longer children, they're adults, their spouses, the grandchildren. It's great to see. Here is John's mugshot from December of 2019. I typically don't like to focus on these kinds of things, especially since he has died, but it is linked on the wiki if you'd like to read more about it. And here is his other mugshot. This one is from 2021. Now, this is what you've been waiting for, the TikTok from John's daughter. Not only is she going to discuss what it was like being his daughter, but she's also going to drop some Supernanny tea that was quite shocking. Now, I'm not going to play the entire TikTok. It is her content. I will link it in the description if you want to watch it in its entirety, but I am going to do a little voiceover and explain a little summary of what she talks about. The first thing that she does here is she shows the little scene from when Supernanny was having that back and forth with him, and she talks about how it was really hard for him to look back on Supernanny because he did have an NDA. He couldn't share his thoughts. So I think she feels like she can now because he's no longer here. Maybe she feels this idea of she needs to share his truth. It gets really hairy because the first thing that she talks about is how he was a recovering alcoholic. We read that on the wiki. And she says later on that his friends from the bar, I guess, had Supernanny show up at the bar before they came to film and that he could smell the alcohol in her breath. Again, take this with a grain of salt. This is coming from one person. I have no idea. I am just relaying the information, but that was quite shocking to hear. And that he also talked a lot about how the clips were not really in chronological order. I'm not surprised. I'm sure you're not surprised either. When we watch these reality shows, they're telling a story. They clip it on purpose. We are seeing one version of a person. And people are so much more complex than these simplified characters that they are made out to be on TV. So I don't doubt, that she feels like she needs to defend him because how he was portrayed on Supernanny wasn't positive, but the things that he did do, she does kind of admit to. She goes on to describe her dad as like a sour patch. He's very sour on the outside, but he's sweet on the inside. I could totally see that. He didn't seem like a bad man. He just seemed like somebody who cared, and he didn't know how to discipline in a way that wasn't authoritarian. And I appreciate her sharing for her father. You let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for joining me today. Remember that we get to be the calm in the storm. We get to be the guide when they're lost, and we get to be the love that helps them grow. I hope that you have a beautiful week, and I will see you next time. Bye.